This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So I just want to know, how many of you are from manual or functional testing over here before we start the actual demo? Just wanted to know, how many of you are from manual or functional testing, or anyone from automation?
Yes, I do automation using Selenium, Maven, and Java.
Okay. So, what is the, in general, as a manual or functional or automation tester, the main objective is to identify, you know, identify the bugs, is to validate the functionality, right? We have to identify the bugs. We have to validate the functionality. We have to test the actual result versus the actual versus the expected result, right? That is what we do in the functional or automation testing, right? But as a performance tester, we are not interested in that. I'm not interested in doing that. But as a performance tester, I want to identify the performance bottlenecks. I want to know how fast the application is loading. Okay. If I click on the login button, okay, as a functional tester, if I want to validate the functionality of the home page, what would I do generally? I generally enter the username and password, and then I click on login button, and then I'll see the home page. If I'm able to see the home page, right, then I'll say that particular step or test case is passed, right? But as a performance tester, I'm not interested to know, what is the functionality or what is the exact functionality, what is the actual result versus the expected result. No, as a performance tester, I want to know how fast the home page is loaded. Okay, I want to know how fast the home page is loaded, how fast the user is able to log in. Okay, that's the main objective of performance testing. At the same time, if there is any lag, or if the application is slow, I want to identify why it is slow. I want to identify why it is slow. That's where the performance tester it comes into picture, right? As a performance tester, I want to assure the functionality of the application, okay, under the real world conditions. I want to assess it. And at the same time, I want to identify the performance bottlenecks in applications. Okay. In general, if we discuss, okay, why applications become slow, why any applications become slow. Okay. So, there would be multiple users trying to log in or trying to access the application, right, at the same point of time. That's the reason the application becomes slow. Then the load, because the load increases, right? When hundreds of people trying to access the bank, let's assume we are working on some HDFC Bank application, okay, or IRCTC. What will IRCTC users do generally? The Tatkal users, they try to book the tickets at 10 a.m. in the morning. When at the 10 a.m. in the morning, thousands or lakhs of users, they try to access the IRCTC website at same point of time. Okay, at that point of time, the load on the application increases. When the load on the application increases, the application becomes slow. Okay, when the load on the application increases, the application becomes slow. When the application becomes slow, the page will not respond. Okay, it keeps on loading. The page forever loads actually. Okay, and because of this reason, we need to do performance testing. Because of that, in order to avoid those situations, we need to do performance testing before we deploy the application into production. Okay, for example, do you want to book a movie ticket? Okay, or if you are using any movie booking website to book a ticket, and if you are waiting for 15 minutes to know that there are no seats available, huh? So it's irritating, right? So if the page loads for 15 minutes and it says that no seats available, then it's irritating, right? The performance of the application should be fast, the real fast. Okay, then only the user will feel, okay, he'll feel satisfied with that application. He'll use that application again and again, right? So that's the reason performance testing is very much important, before the actual application goes live. How whatever the functionality we are testing, the functional testers and the automation testers, the performance testing is also equally that important. Okay, if all the functionality works fine and your application doesn't load in the production, then there is no use of that functionality, right? So that's the reason performance testing is equally important. Okay, so can you test the performance of the login? For example, we were discussing about the login functionality. I'll quickly launch one application. Okay, let's assume. Okay, I'll use the sample application only. Okay, for time being. So let's assume this is the application. Okay, Web Tools application given by the Micro Focus or HP itself. Okay, so as a manual tester or functional tester, what would you do if you want to log in? You generally enter the user ID and password. Okay, user ID and password, and you click on login here, and you are on the home page now. You are on the home page now. Okay, but as I told you, as a performance tester, I'm not interested in knowing this. I want to see how fast it is loading. Okay, how fast the application is loading, or what is the response time for the login functionality, right? So can't I do it manually? Okay, can't I do it manually like this? Like I'll enter the user ID and password, and I click on login, and let's say, hey, it loaded in less than 1 second. I can tell it, but I'll not be able to tell with so many users. For one user, I can tell, okay, I'm entering my user ID and entering my password, and I'm able to tell approximately that, okay, this is taking this much time. In fact, I can use some automation tool like Selenium also. For one user, I can go ahead and check, how much time it is taking. Okay. In fact, I can check in browser itself by using F12 developer tools. Okay. When I click on login, I can see what is the response time for this login functionality for one user. But in real time, we will not test it for only one user. We will test it for many users, hundreds of users, thousands of users, right? So what is the response time of login if 1,000 users log in at a time? That's what we want to check. But that I cannot do it manually. I cannot do it manually. There should be some script, or there should be some tool which will help me in knowing that response time. Okay, when multiple users log in. When multiple users log in, to know how much time it has taken, I have to have some script or some tool. Okay, or there should be some tool which will generate that script for me, which will calculate what is the response time for the login. For example, if you are considering login, then there should be some tool which will generate the script, and it will calculate the login response time for me, right? So that tool here today we'll discuss is about the load runner. Load runner is one of the tool in the market. Okay, along with many other tools. Okay, it has major share in the market currently, along with other famous tools like JMeter. Okay, so quickly what we'll do is we'll try to create one small script, okay, for login, and we'll see how to calculate the response time for login. Okay, so to begin with, we have some component called, okay, we have some component called virtual user generator. As I told you, it will generate the script for me. This particular load runner tool will generate the script for me. Okay, this is one of the component. The component name is virtual user generator, which I'm using now to generate the script. Okay, this component will help us in generating the script. Okay,
We lost screen share. At least I'm not able to see your screen.
just a second.
I'm also same here.
Are you able to see now?
Yeah, okay, now fine.
Yes.
Okay, I'll quickly launch it again. So this is one of the component called virtual user generator. This is part of the load runner tool. This is one of the component. So we'll quickly record the login functionality of the application, and we'll see how to calculate the response time. Okay. So I'll create one new script. Okay. I'll create one new script. So go to file and click on create a new script. Okay. So if you are testing any web application, select this web HTTP HTML. Okay, based on the protocol only we'll select this. Okay, load runner supports many protocols, more than 50 number of protocols it will support. Okay, it all depends on what is the technology that is that your application is used for development, and what is the protocol that is used for communication. Okay, so based on that we have to select the protocol, but 90% of the web applications use HTTP or HTML protocol only. Okay, we generally type HTTP or HTTPS www.google.com, right? That's the protocol. Okay, so I will give a name for the script. I'll say, okay, demo, let's go something like that. Let's create. Okay, I have created the script. Okay, this is the this is the home page of this particular script, of this particular tool. Okay, there are several options on the left hand side. That is Solution Explorer. Okay, that is Solution Explorer on the left hand side. This is the Solution Explorer, and this is the code editor where you have to write the script or generate the script. Okay, and these are used for some error logs, to validate the logs or errors or something like that. Okay, so for time being, ignore the left hand side. Okay, for time being, ignore this left hand side's Solution Explorer. Okay, we'll discuss everything in detail in our actual sessions. Okay, for time being, I'll quickly record. Okay, whatever we are recording, everything will get recorded in this action here. Okay, we have something called action. Okay, everything will get recorded here. I'll click on this icon here, the red color icon. This option is used for recording. Okay, so I'll record some script now. So I'll say okay. So these are the different options that we get when we start recording. So I'll quickly discuss this in couple of minutes. So the first option is where you want to record. You want to record in that action, or where you want to record. There would be multiple actions. We'll discuss about this in detail again. Okay. The second option is what is the browser you want to use for recording. What is the browser you want to use for recording? So most of the times there will not be any specific requirement that we have to record in this specific browser only, but in very rare instances client might ask you that hey, can you just record using IE, or can you just run my script in using IE or Chrome, because most of my users in real time might use Chrome or IE, something like that. If you have any specific requirement, you can select the browser from here. Okay, if you have some specific requirement, any such specific requirement, you can use it. Okay, you have options here: Internet Explorer, Chrome. In my laptop, Firefox is not available. If you want, you can add Firefox, download Firefox and add it as well. Okay, and then
hey, this is it.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question. So when you pick the Google Chrome, what version? It's the version in your desktop that is going to be there, or the version of its own in the VUGen? Which one is going to be there?
It has to pick up from the version which is there in my machine. Yeah.
Okay.
Because,
and one more question. Yeah, tell me please. Go ahead, please. Because
see, if you click on this browse activity here, okay, it would generally it would ask us to select the application file. Okay, wherever suppose when we install, we'll get that application file, right, somewhere in that exe file or something. So that application file path we have to give it here. For example, if I'm downloading Firefox in future, wherever the path is there, I have to give that path here, so that it will trigger that browser from there.
Okay. The other question I want to ask you is that so when we try to record, I mean, I'm using LoadRunner in my office. I'm still learning so many things. I'm not that good. So when we try to do it, why it is opening in always in the private mode rather than opening in the normal mode? Is it something you'll be explaining now, or it's not the correct question to ask at this time?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's not the correct question. We'll discuss everything in detail. Yeah. So
Just a quick thing,
and then,
because I was trying
yeah.
and every time it was opening only in the private mode rather than the normal regular mode. So I was a little bit confused. Is this the
Sure.
way a view
We'll do one
works?
thing. You can, I'm there in that group, right? You can just ping me offline. I can explain you over the call, separately. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
If it
Sorry,
is
I
urgent
disturbed.
for you, if it is urgent for today,
Not
you can
urgent.
ping
It's
me. I
for
can call.
everyone.
Sure.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So, and then we have this URL address over here. What is the URL that you want to launch? Okay. What is the URL that you want to launch? Okay. And then we have something, this is a working directory, or if you want to start recording immediately or in delayed mode or something. Okay. And then we also have some recording options here, which we'll discuss later. Okay. In our detailed sessions. I'll quickly click on this start recording. Okay. I'll quickly start recording. As soon as I clicked on start recording, you are seeing this a movable window which has popped up. Okay. A movable window which has popped up. And at the same time, the application is launched with a given URL, whatever the URL which we have given. At the same time, you are seeing some number over here, which keeps on increasing. So what it means, when the number keeps on increasing, okay, starting from 0. So it means that this Vusion script, whatever we are recording, it is able to record the events. Okay, it is able to record the event successfully. If the number is not increasing, then you have to check the settings, and there is some flow how to debug, and everything we'll discuss again. But the number, if it is increasing, that means your Vusion is able to record the event successfully. Okay. And then it's a mobile window actually. Okay, it's a mobile window. Okay. And now, as discussed a few minutes ago, I want to calculate the response time for the login functionality. Let's assume I want to calculate the response time for login functionality. Okay, so if I want to calculate the response time for login functionality, I should tell Vusion that where to start calculation and where to end calculation. Okay, where to start the exact calculation for login and where to end. For that purpose, we have something called transactions. We have something called transactions over here. Okay, we have something called transactions over here, this button. So if I click on this, it will say insert start transaction. So for that purpose, I have to give some transaction name. If I say, okay, application login. Okay, if I say application login, okay, this is the transaction name. Let's assume this is the transaction name. Okay, I'm clicking on OK. So once you start the transaction first and then perform your action here. Start the transaction and then perform your action here. Enter username and password now. Enter username and password now, and then click on login. And then click on login. Now you are on the home page. Now you are on the home page. Now till here login functionality is completed, right? So now click on the end transaction because you want to calculate the response time only for login now. Okay, because you want to calculate only for login, just end the transaction here. Okay, whatever the transaction you started, just end the transaction here like this. Click on this end transaction. Okay, and if you want, you can stop it. You can stop the recording as well. Okay, if you stop the recording, this Vusion tool, okay, will automatically generate the script for us. This Vusion tool will automatically generate the script for us. Okay, so see, this is the script which Vusion has generated. Okay, now I'll quickly remove the unwanted things. Okay, for time being, I'll explain you at later point of time in our actual sessions. Okay, okay. So if you carefully observe this script, okay, if you carefully observe this script, we have given some transaction name. Okay, what is the transaction name that we have given? It is application underscore login, right? If you see, this is a transaction name that we have given. Okay, now if you see, this is a start transaction. That means we are starting the login transaction here, and somewhere here we are ending the transaction here. The same transaction application login. That means whatever the code that is there between these two, between start transaction and end transaction, that code belongs to login. That code belongs to login. Okay, so now I'll quickly make some changes here. Okay, because I want to execute again and I want to show the response time, right? So that's the reason I'll quickly make some changes. Okay, now I'll run this script again. Okay, I'll run this script again and we'll see what is the response time for this login functionality. Okay, so to run this, we have some run icon here, or F5. Okay, if you click F5 or if you run, the script will run. So the only advantage of this tool, or this Vusion tool, is you record once, you record the entire functionality once, just tweak some code, or just make some minor changes, and it will run many times for you. And unless and until there is major change in your application, the script will run for you. Okay, now the code is executed. The code is executed. Now if you carefully observe, okay, if you carefully observe the logs here, okay, the application login started here, and at the end, if you see, the transaction application login, okay, ended with the pass status, and duration is 0.2936 seconds. That means the login has taken 0.2936 seconds. Okay, the duration of login, what is the response time for login now? It is 0.29 seconds. Okay, and you might get a question now, like, hey, it's taking 0.29 seconds, but is there any specific max value? Okay, that this is the SLA, or this is the standard in industry? Yes, there is a standard in industry when we are considering the response time. The max response time for any web page to load is 2 seconds. That's the standard. Okay, but in some projects, depending on the requirement, okay, depending on the complexity of the architecture, they might accept it for 3 to 5 seconds as well. But in general, the standard for any web page to load is 2 seconds. If your web page is loading in 2 seconds, okay, then that means your application is real fast. If it's taking more than 2 seconds, that means there is something to debug. There is some performance bottleneck which we have to address. Okay, which you have to discuss with the application or the development team, right? So in today's example, what is the response time that we are getting? 0.29 seconds, which means less than 2 seconds, and it is acceptable. Okay, and you are seeing the wasted time over there. Generally, wasted time, is time spent for keeping transaction statistics. Okay, all these transaction statistics internally, it have to keep it for reporting at the end of the test, right? So Vusion will use that, some time for tracking all these transaction times. That tracking time, it is considered as wasted time. Okay, so wasted time will not get included in the response time. Actually, it's a separate thing. Okay, so you can ignore that wasted time. You can consider only the duration time. Now you can go and tell your client that, hey, your application login is responding quickly. It is taking 0.29 seconds. Okay, now we have tested with one user only here as well, but in real time we will test with hundreds of users. We'll test with thousands of users, and we'll see what is the response time of login. Okay, now at the same time, by looking at this code, you might get a doubt that, hey, do we really need some coding experience? Do we really need some coding experience to do all this stuff? To be frank, we need little bit of C language. Mostly C language is used for some scripting purpose. Very, basics, very basics is required. Hardly, when we record the entire functionality, we make some minor changes, some 5 to 10% of, some code changes we have to do. We can do it by learning some C language basics. We will cover that C language basics as well as part of this course. Okay, so record the script once, make some, tweak the script, make some minor changes. You can run it a number of times. Okay, you can calculate the response time of whatever the functionality you want to test for. Okay, so this is how, this is what the Vusion tool is all about. This tool will help us in generating the script. This tool will help us in recording the script and run it a number of times, as many times as we want. Okay, we'll discuss about this component of the load runner tool in detail in our actual classes. At the same time, as part of this course, we will cover this performance testing lifecycle as well. Okay, so in general, you have the software testing lifecycle as well. If you're a functional tester, okay, you will have this functional testing lifecycle as well, right from requirements gathering till testing and raising the bugs, and closing the stories, or if it's agile, closing the sprints, or closing the release till that point, right? So likewise, we have the same performance testing lifecycle as well. We will cover each and everything, right from POC, proof of concept, right from requirements gathering, till the reporting and documentation. The major thing in performance testing when compared to functional testing is the identifying the bottlenecks. So if let's assume this particular application, whatever we have tested just now, okay, let's assume the login script, it's taking 10 seconds. Okay, the response time is 10 seconds. So identifying where is the issue exactly is a big thing here. Okay, and it's a challenging thing. It's interesting. It's not like functional or automation. To be frank, I have worked as automation tester as well. I felt bored after working for 1 or 2 years, because I was doing the same scripting, and I was always comparing the actual versus automation, actual versus expected. But when I started working on performance testing, I felt interesting because it was always challenging where the exact issue is. Okay, where the exact issue is in the entire architecture. What is the component that is creating the issue, where it is getting delayed? That's a challenging thing, identifying the bottlenecks. Writing script, if you start learning scripting and you can master scripting in 2 to 3 weeks, and then you script anything, it's not a big thing. But identifying the bottleneck is a big thing actually. That's a major challenge for you guys, for anyone, because it's based on our observations only. Client has to or the application team has to fix it. So our observations should be accurate. Okay, and apart from this, we also have something called architecture. Okay, we have something called the architecture as well. Okay, so we'll discuss this architecture quickly. This is the load runner architecture. Actually, this is the load runner architecture. We will derive the architecture out of some questions today. We will derive the architecture out of some questions today. Let's assume there is a bank application. Okay, there's a bank website, and this particular bank website is being used by 500 users. Let's assume 500 users, and or some users are testing login functionality, some users are downloading bank statement, or some users are paying credit card bills. Okay, they are accessing different functionalities in the application. Okay, and if you want to test this application with 500 users, how do you test it? Do you pick 500 people manually and give them 500 machines and ask them to test it? No, right? It's not possible. Okay, if you want to test this application with 500 users, all the 500 users logging in simultaneously, if you want to test it real time, okay, you cannot assign this application to 500 people and ask them to sit at one place and assign them 500 machines and ask them to test, right? No, it's not the right approach, right? So we need to have some software or some tool which will generate the users for us, which will simulate the real-time users for us, right? That particular component or that particular software is called load generator. That particular component is called load generator. Load generator is used to generate the virtual users or simulate virtual users for us. Okay, in this entire concept of load runner architecture, the load generator component or software is used to simulate the virtual users for us, and these virtual users mimic or behave like a real user. Okay, and these are highly configured machines. These are highly configured machines. Okay, and now we have this software which will generate virtual users for us. Now, as I told you, all these 500 users might not test the same functionality, right? Okay, some might be testing login, some might be testing download bank statement, or some might be transferring amount, or some might be paying credit card bills, right? So for all those functionality, we should have some component. Okay, we should have some component using which we have to generate scripts for each functionality, using which we have to generate scripts for each functionality, right? And that component is called Vuegen, virtual user generator, which we have seen just now. We have recorded the functionality, right? The login functionality, the same component. Okay, this Vuegen component will help us in recording the functionality, generating the script, right? Now we have users. Now we have the component which will generate the users. Now we have the component which will record the script for us, or which will generate the script for us. Okay, now we have to execute the scripts which we have generated using Vuegen, right? We have to execute the scripts, okay, which we have created using Vuegen component. Okay, so there should be some component using which we have to execute the scripts. Okay, the component is controller or performance center. Okay, component or performance center. For example, out of those 500 users, okay, 200 users are testing the amount payment or credit card payment functionality, and remaining 300 users are testing the download bank statement functionality. Okay, now let's assume 200 users are testing the paying credit card functionality, and 300 users are testing the download bank statement functionality. Now, if you want to run this combination, okay, if you want to run these scripts, 200 users and 300 users testing the functionality, you need to have some component, right? That component is called controller or performance center. Using performance center or controller, we will run the scripts. We will execute the scripts. Okay, we will execute the scripts. Now we have three components here: load generator, which is used for simulating virtual users, and we have Vuegen, virtual user generator, which will help us in recording or generating the script, and we have controller, which will help us in executing the scripts. Now, after execution, the main important thing is, identifying the performance bottlenecks. For that, for identification, we need to analyze the results. For analyzing the results, we need to have a component called analysis. And this analysis tool, okay, or this analysis component will help us in analyzing the results. Okay, so it will get all the data from the controller. Controller will execute the scripts, and it will store all the results. It will dump all those results in one place. Now, what this analysis tool will do is, it will go and pick the the results from that place, and it will start and giving us the analyzed results. Okay, in short, these are the components of the load runner architecture. In short, these are the components of the load runner architecture: load generator, which will generate the users; Vuegen, which is used for generating or recording the scripts; controller is for, or performance center is for executing the scripts; analysis is for analyzing the results. Okay, this is all about the load runner architecture. So any questions till now in in the load runner architecture, or what is, or why performance testing, or what is performance testing and all about?